Hello everyone and welcome to weekly spirit messages. So these are spirit messages for the week starting the 17th of April 2023. Now if you are watching it sometime in the future, that's actually still fine because the messages that I record can be timeless and they do cover certain subjects. So yeah, so if the title resonates with you, still watch it regardless of the date in which that was recorded. So this week we will be starting a Mercury retrograde, and also there is an eclipse, a new moon eclipse in the sign of Aries. We had a new moon eclipse a little while ago, a few weeks ago or so, in the sign of Aries already. So check those dates and see what transpired, what started happening, because this is a continuation, and the continuation will be a little bit stronger as it's an eclipse. We are all starting something new because we're in the sign of Aries, in the Aries season. And yeah, the Mercury retrograde will come in at the same time to help us rework and maybe rethink something. Now, again, that obviously depends on what sign you are, what ascendant you have, and then based on your ascendant sign, it will tell you which house Aries occupies, and so which areas of your life need some rework, let's say. So for that reason, I felt like this week it would be a good idea to do a reading on what do we need to review for the Mercury retrograde so that we can really start enjoying the effects of the new moon within our lives. So yeah, it's just it's kind of a big energy because, like I say, we're entering almost a new era, I want to say, of our lives. And before we can do that fully, there's something that needs to be reviewed and revised. So let's see what that is. And interestingly enough, as I was just preparing the deck for the reading, this card was left on top, which is the Eight of Cups, the Eight of Cups of leaving something behind. So that is very appropriate to what I'm just saying. So please listen to your sun, moon, and rising sign for a deeper message. If you don't know your sun, moon, and rising, it's quite easy to check if you search for a natal chart online. Basically, you can get your natal astrology chart for free online. And yeah, but if for any reason maybe you don't know the date of your birth exactly, so you're not sure what your ascendant is, then just have a look back in time which sign the moon was in on the day that you were born, so you'll at least have your moon and your sun sign. Okay, so that's that, and let's move on. Let's see, what do we need to review before we can fully accept this new beginning in our life. So as I was shuffling the cards, I just wanted to show this one jumper. We have the Four of Wands, and the Four of Wands is a card of celebration, of building something solid, of us walking away from troubles and really enjoying the fruits of our labor. As you can see, the couple here is walking towards the sun. So yeah, I feel like that's a very short collective reading for all signs from Aries to Pisces. Just a little taster, I suppose, for us all to see what's coming. So overall, things are looking up for all of us. Whatever it is that we'll need to leave behind will be leading us to this beautiful conclusion. So yeah, I'm just going to continue shuffling to take the 12 cards for each zodiac sign. Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo. Let's start with the first 6 signs. Okay, so Aries, sun, moon, or rising. So you've got the Knight of Pentacles. That means that what you need to review and revise during this Mercury retrograde in order to really put into motion those new changes that are coming into your life, this new era of all of our lives, is basically hard and steady work. It's not about necessarily actually hard, but it might be hard because of its consistency that's needed. So if you've been jumping around maybe a little bit too much for a while, if you've had a phase of your life where you were, you know, trying different things here and there, always trying something new, initiating something new, I mean, that's a very normal thing to do for Aries, really. It is a time to really look at your consistency and what you're really deciding to commit to. So there is, I feel like you have already built actually quite a good foundation. And now it's time to reap those rewards, but they just won't be, you know, flying in all at once. It will take a little while for the results to see, but whatever you have built up until now through your initiatives will start bringing you some consistent income, consistent rewards, material rewards. Yes. So if anything, this time of this week when the Mercury retrograde starts, it's just prompting you to really keep going, keep at it, and have faith. Because although you might not see big returns just yet, it is a slow and steady pace until you will, because you already have the solid ground, the solid foundation. Now it's just time to reap the rewards. So yeah, so maybe just to revise and review, you know, any ways in which you can keep consistent. That's the only thing that comes to my mind. Or, you know, something that it's almost like what I'm kind of feeling is focus on the big tickets. if it's, let's say, if it's a business and you have created quite a few things, focus on those really main priorities, big ticket stuff that you have. What is the most important thing for you that you would like to continue for a long time, basically, and start building on it, revising it, you know, changing if anything needs to change, because those are the main things that will keep you going. Although it's a general reading for all Aries, I feel this is basically, I mean, all about the material world, as we have the Knight of Pentacles. But however that applies in your life, just use it as it applies. Thank you for watching, Aries. I'll see you next week. Taurus, Sun, Moon, or Rising. So what are you working on? What are you revising? What do you need to rework maybe and rethink a little bit? And I feel like this is about you taking action and initiative in new directions. As we have the Ace of Wands. I mean, Ace of Wands is definitely a card of newness, of new beginning, of starting something new. So if anything, I mean, Taurus being quite a solid and consistent, committed, and maybe a little bit stubborn sign, I feel like change for you, Taurus especially, might be a little bit difficult usually. Of course, that depends on the rest of your natal chart. But this season of revision wants you to really look at starting things new. So it's either about the things you've already started that are meant to be continued and paid attention to a little bit more, or learn to start things anew, learn to change, learn to bring changes into your life, accept them, you know, revise them if you need to, for however long you need, but don't just dismiss them for the sake of things staying the same, because things have to change, and they're definitely changing, like I said, for all of us in some way. So just, yeah, it will be a time for you to really embrace change. So yeah, thank you for watching, Taurus. I'll see you next week. Gemini, Sun, Moon, or Rising, we have the King of Cups. So what are you changing, revising, rethinking, relearning during this Mercury retrograde to help you with this new era of your life? And we have the King of Cups, the king of the emotional life, the king of the spiritual and sensitive, and all the things that are of a feminine nature. So I feel like this is a start or revision or time to really look at your own emotional life, on how you express and present yourself to the environment that you live in, to the people within your environment, and sort of how do you navigate that external life through your internal emotional life. I hope that makes sense. Sorry, I'm trying to trying to put into words what I'm feeling. This is definitely not the time anymore, or this time is breaking, of being very protected, very protective of how you feel, of sharing your feelings or emotions with others. You're moving away from that, and this new moon eclipse in Aries wants you to become a bit more confident, open, yeah, and sort of stable, I want to say, because although the King of Cups is the king of the emotion, right? Because cups are mainly to do with feelings, emotion, side of life, and he is basically the ruler of it all. He's the highest. It's the highest card of cups, so he's the master. So yeah, this time of new moon eclipse in Aries for you, Gemini, will be the time to learn to manage, feel confident within yourself and within your emotional life, getting to know it a little bit better. There will be some revision, rework, rethink that you'll be going through during this Mercury retrograde, so that you can start your journey towards mastering that side of your life. Definitely getting on top here, Gemini, and being in control and confident within yourself. So keep that in mind during this time. Thank you for watching. I see you next week. Cancer, Sun, Moon, or Rising. Okay, well, this is interesting. So what are you working on? What are you revising and rethinking? I feel like this is the escape from things that are uncomfortable, escape from uncomfortable thoughts, beliefs, sort of keeping your, I want to say, because we've got swords, it's Seven of Swords. Swords is our mental plane, our mental energy. So it's kind of like keeping the thoughts to yourself. Yeah, I feel like there might be quite a bit on your mind, just in general, not necessarily right now, that you're just not communicating very well with everyone around you. Maybe not communicating very well, but you're not openly communicating who you are, what you're thinking, what your thoughts processes are. Cancer, you are understandably quite a sensitive to your environment sign, especially if you're a Cancer rising. So you would be quite empathetic, and you can always pick up on on the energy of the place that you're in, and maybe what's sort of what the mood of other people are. What is the mood of other people in whose company you are? You might be holding your tongue if you know that something might upset the other person, even if it's not your intention. You know, you're very thoughtful in that sense. So I feel like this is the time to kind of try and break away from that, because by being sometimes overly thoughtful, you're basically losing yourself a little bit in that behavior, right? Because you're not expressing yourself openly. And so this will be the time to kind of learn and rework and rethink the way how you approach your own self-expression within your external environment, is what I'm feeling mostly here. And that would kind of like I say, mainly relate to your thoughts, your opinions, what you think, what you believe in, what you might want to say. Sometimes, you know, when people are having conversations, you would like to come in and chip in with whatever you think about the subject, but maybe up until now you've been holding your tongue, you know, because it could be a little bit emotionally challenging for you, Cancer. So whatever transpires during this new moon eclipse and also this Mercury retrograde will help you really come out of your shell. But the other message that I'm getting here that might apply to other Cancers is that the self-sabotage, the hidden self-sabotage, and also the hidden deceit, whether you have deceived, you know, yourself in the past through self-sabotage, or someone has been deceiving you in the shadows, I want to say, it will all come to light and you'll realize what A might have been holding you back, or B, who has been holding you back, excuse me, intentionally. You know, whether it's someone in your life right now, whether this is someone from your past that maybe still sits within your mind, within your subconscious, and you're in a way perpetuating some sort of behavior from the past because of that person, you know, or like I say, someone who is actually in your life and just isn't actually as honest, I suppose, with you as you thought maybe they are. Maybe there is someone that's actually hiding some skeletons, right? Hiding some skeletons in their closet. And so I feel like this might be coming out. And if it's a friend, you know, who knows? The friendship might end. If it's someone else, something might end, basically. Something to do with some energies that are holding you back. Whether it's, like I say, another person or just you yourself based on whatever happened in the past. Very interesting, Cancer. Thank you for listening. I'll see you next week. Leo, Sun, Moon, or Rising. We've got the Eight of Swords for you, Leo. So this new moon eclipse and this Mercury retrograde will help you see what you've been blinded towards. Now, with this card, it's not really blinded like you're blinded by other people. This is actually quite a... This card is always very interesting to me because it's actually, it talks about our own inability to see the way out due to our mental energy. So what sits in our beliefs, what sits in our thoughts, how they affect our life. Maybe this is mostly about some sort of energies and thoughts that are keeping us stuck in a certain situation or a way of being, and we feel like there is no way out and it will never end. But it's just that we don't have it's either we don't want to see, or somehow something is standing in our way of our ability to see the bigger picture and noticing that actually you can just get up and walk away, you know? So I'm just looking at, you know, at the back of the card. As you can see, she's kind of like sitting around the swords. I mean, she's sitting surrounded by swords, which are, again, in tarot, they talk about our mental life, our thoughts, everything that our mentality. But you can see that she actually almost like has a sword in her hand, and the excuse me, the cords that she's tied up with are actually quite loose. So she doesn't have to sit here, doesn't have to keep herself stuck anymore, but she needs to, in a way, notice that that's what's happening so she can just get up and move on, kind of thing. So yeah, so Leo, for you, I feel like there might be quite a bit of self-sabotaging thoughts coming up to light for you, noticing how you are self-sabotaging yourself, and making yourself sort of feel stuck in a certain way of being, situation, you know, whatever it may be, as it's a general reading for all Leos. So yeah, however, you know, however difficult or I won't even say embarrassing, maybe some of you will feel a little bit embarrassed with yourself that you've let yourself do this all this time. Whatever it may be, don't worry, Leo, it's all for your highest good, and you know, we've all been there. I feel I used to personally have this card come up so many times. I stopped counting. So I totally understand this state of being. And it's, if anything, it's just a time for you to release yourself from this bondage. Yeah, amazing, amazing stuff. Thank you for listening. I'll see you next week. Virgo, Sun, Moon, or Rising. So what are you reviewing during this Mercury retrograde? You've got the Fool card. Well, there is not much reviewing. I don't feel. It's more about just letting things fall into place for you without overthinking it. So this is the time for you to really trust your instincts, to really trust your desires, what your heart tells you to do, and follow it blindly almost, right? So this is not really a time to be overthinking anything. It's just kind of like almost like a risk-taking time for you. It's a time for you to explore new things, whether it's about yourself, you're exploring something new, or you know, anything else, new approaches, maybe to whether it's relationships, work, career. As it's a general reading, it could be something different for all of us. But yeah, Virgo, it's time to really get out there and just try something new, something you haven't done before. Just be, I just want to say, just be trustful. If people come into you with ideas, suggestions, you know, don't question it. Just, this is the time to be like, okay, well, let's see where that takes me. I'm not going to judge it. I'm not going to look for the imperfections, right? Virgo. It's more about just really taking that step in the new direction, something you haven't done before. Whatever comes your way that you haven't done before, just embrace it, try it out, see what happens, where does it lead you, you know. Let's see what's at the back. Yeah, so you see, you are being guided by the shooting star. That just means luck to me. It just means that wherever you will be going towards, walking towards, whatever you'll be open to trying, is actually for your highest good. So let your hair loose a little bit, right? um, yeah, I feel like that's pretty much it. And it's also, I feel one other message here is that it's almost going to be this time of, it will be a time of renewal when it comes to your emotional life as well, because I'm seeing the cup here falling down. So it's almost like some sort of a fresh start in the way that you experience your emotions and the way you express them, perhaps, or understand them. I feel like they won't be standing in your way anymore. And it gives me a very light energy here, very carefree, light energy that's coming into your life. So embrace it, Virgo. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next week. Libra, Sun, Moon, or Rising. So what sort of revisions are coming your way? Revisions or reviews. You've got the Knight of Swords. The Knight of Swords is an energy of quick decision making, quick, maybe haphazard sometimes, a little bit of a sharp tongue perhaps. You know, just saying what's on our mind, maybe sometimes without thinking about how we're saying it. But also it's a energy of making fast decisions, you know, when the time is right to make those. So I feel like this new moon in Aries eclipse and the Mercury retrograde will help you sort of address those sides of yourself, or perhaps will help you bring this kind of energy into your life. If it's not something that has been that has been in your life already, right? The ability to make quick decisions, although I would feel as a Libra, you probably have that ability, capacity, and experience being an air sign. This is also, I feel like, telling us that during this time there might be a little bit of chaos coming in. And if that's the case, it's almost like it will bring this needed revision of whether it's decisions that you've been taking up until now in your life, or the way you're thinking about making decisions. I feel like there might be a little bit of a challenge, maybe a little small crisis during that Mercury retrograde that will really sort of force you to have a look at the way in which you make decisions. Yeah, that's the only thing that's actually coming to my mind. I keep repeating myself, but I guess that's just mostly what this is about. So this will be a time of either you needing to make fast decisions so that you can move forward in life, or reviewing the way you make fast decisions without thinking them through. As it's a general reading, either of those can apply. Just take what resonates with you. Yeah, I'm just kind of having a look to see if there's anything else. No, I don't think there's anything else. If anything, it's just time of some quick changes for you based on what I just said a moment ago. So yeah, so that's that, Libra, for you. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next week. Scorpio, Sun, Moon, or Rising. Okay, what are we reviewing? What are we rethinking this Mercury retrograde so that we can really embrace the changes that are coming our way, for during the new moon eclipse. So this is definitely something to do with power, because we have the Emperor. Sort of, I feel like Spirit wants you to have a look at the side of your life where you feel, or where you feel like you need to protect yourself, and you're putting some sort of a shield just in order to control your life in general. You want to control the outcomes, you want to know what's happening, and you want to be in power of those outcomes. So perhaps this is the time for you to review the way in which you've been trying to control your life, control yourself, right? So anything that sits inside, you've been trying to control it, perhaps maybe a little bit too much. It's kind of the whole concept of control and power, having power over life, over yourself, maybe over others as well. You know, this will be sort of the time for you to really look at that and see how is it actually serving you. What sort of experiences, feelings, and just way of being is it bringing into your life? Are you happy? Are you content with where you're going? Do you feel joyful, fulfilled, satisfied with how your life is going? Perhaps you're maybe holding on to that power and that control a little bit too tight, and it's actually making you ill. Maybe it's making you ill. Maybe it's making you angry, frustrated, unsatisfied, negative. You know, put in whatever you want, and then in there, Scorpio. However, that applies to you, as this is a general reading for all Scorpios. But yeah, this time of Mercury retrograde and the new moon eclipse in Aries will be bringing those sort of themes into your mind, into your life. Maybe perhaps it might show up in a way of some people in your life rebelling perhaps to your control or to your tight grip on life, I suppose. Ask yourself, what is it that you're trying to hold on to so tight, and why? How is it really serving you? I'm still looking at this red robe, and this red color kind of brings to my mind everything to do with our root chakra. So anything to do with our material physical life, our sense of security, our sense of safety. How do we feel? Do we feel grounded? Do we feel in control of where our life is going? Maybe control is actually the wrong word here, because it's more like, are we aware of the vision, maybe, of how we want our life to look like, and do we feel safe and secure in the direction that our life is going towards? Sometimes we need to feel safe and secure in times of unknown, when we don't know where things are going. We don't know how we're going to do this and that, how we're going to bring about something into our life, whatever is important to us. But by letting go, sometimes that's the exact way to let things come in, because unless we're, some things are actually not good for us, not meant for us, and they are blocking the good things from coming in. So sometimes we just need to let go, let the control go, let the shielding go, let it fall, and just, go with the flow, right? I can imagine that's not the easiest thing to hear for Scorpio, but yeah, I mean, it is quite a time for change, for revision, and that's coming up. And that's what it is for you, Scorpio. So thank you very much for listening, and I'll see you next week. Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, or Rising. So we've got the Queen of Cups here. Sagittarius, she's starting from this side of the card. So I feel like this time of renewal, new beginnings, will want you to review the way you protect your sensitivities, the way you protect your, our sensitivities is what I'm thinking about, things that are deeply important to us, that we are sensitive about, right? So those are the things that we not always want to share with others, or we just don't know how to share with others, and we feel very protective of them, which can, of course, create all different kinds of experiences and situations in our life, depending on how we go about it. So I feel like this is the time for you to kind of review and look at those parts of yourself. How do you manage your high emotions, your maybe those a little bit more intense emotions, so that you can, bring some balance within yourself and also within your life? Because I feel like there might be it might be quite a, let's call it, a wavy experience for you. So I'm thinking about waves as in like sea waves, ocean waves, where a strong wave of emotion might be coming over you at times, and perhaps for the purpose of you protecting yourself, not wanting to be hurt. It might be overpowering the whether it's other person, or it might become, or whether it's an action that you create on the back of it that's just a little bit too forceful. Yeah, I feel like this basically time for you is mainly about managing your emotional life, your ups and downs during your emotional life, and how do you protect, maybe how you protect your sensitivities, but also why, because it's a general reading for all Sagittariuses. This could go both ways. So are you more open and very vulnerable, putting yourself in vulnerable situations because of your intense emotional behavior, reactions, or is it the other way around, where you're trying to really protect yourself so strongly that you come up, or that you show up in the world in a bit more of a shielded, maybe more, I don't know, defensive kind of way, if that makes sense. So yeah, so it might be a little bit of a turbulent time, a little bit of a vulnerable time for you, Sagittarius, but just go with it. Trust that spirit has your back. If prayer is in your gosh, what is it? If you do prayers, then pray for help from our unseen helpers, from your angels, from your spirit guides. When I say pray, it's just basically setting intentions and calling in your angels and your unseen helpers, universe, however you want to go about it, and just help them go through this time, because I feel like it might be a little bit emotionally turbulent. Thank you for listening, Sagittarius. I'll see you next week. Capricorn, Sun, Moon, or Rising. So you have the card of the Moon. The card of the Moon is the card of our deep emotions. Okay, Moon is everything that we keep hidden, that's internal, that might be, that's our subconscious, right? Our internal life, but also it can go deeper into things like anxiety, depression, basically being ruled by our emotions. And those are the depths of you. So Capricorn, this new moon eclipse and Mercury retrograde will help you really rediscover, understand, and uncover all of those hidden parts of you that maybe have been affecting, controlling your life in a certain way, but you haven't really noticed that they are. It could be that your subconscious patterns might be coming out up into the surface for you to acknowledge, notice, become conscious of, become aware of, so that it doesn't, so that they don't in a way sabotage you anymore. Yeah, let's see what else we've got here. It's definitely, I mean, yeah, it's definitely a deep dive into your emotional life. And it's almost like we can see that this lady on this card obviously it's not wearing any clothes whatsoever. That tells me there's a vulnerability and sort of exposure to what we're feeling, what has been hidden, what you have. It's really interesting that we've got an eclipse, by the way, although this is that a solar or lunar? I think that's a solar eclipse. This is a solar eclipse, by the way, that's coming up in Aries. So it's a complete new beginning for you, Capricorn, of understanding your hidden enemies. And when I say hidden enemies, I don't mean any enemies in other people, your own internal enemies that you might have created within yourself. Because again, the moon is very much about our own internal life. So this is a quite a revealing time for you. Something that will finally come to light, and you will be able to to make better, I suppose, or just to be aware of. Really, it's not necessarily about making it better, because once we're aware of something, then of course we can make different decisions. Then we approach our life in a different way. We approach ourselves and we manage ourselves better. So, very interesting. Thank you for watching, Capricorn. I'll see you next week. Aquarius, Sun, Moon, or Rising. You've got the Four of Wands. So this is definitely a time for you to celebrate your achievements. I feel like because we're at the beginning of the video, I was talking about this week, what celestial events are happening. So I feel like this is a time for you to review how you celebrate your achievements. It is also going to be a time to just celebrate your achievements, you know, if you haven't done so yet, because I feel like whatever you've been working on up until now, Aquarius, it's actually brought you to this moment in time in which you can now just really learn how to appreciate all of the hard work you've been doing and just start reaping the rewards. Okay, it's about building something solid, and letting it do its thing. So I feel like whatever you've been working on, you actually have built something solid already, and it's just a matter of you acknowledging that and celebrating that and letting it grow in its own time. So it's almost like, you know, what comes to my mind, it's sort of things like you don't have to keep reworking it, you don't have to keep changing it, you don't have to keep making it better, perfect, you know. Try and stop overthinking through all of these, you know, possibilities. Or maybe I should do this, maybe I should have done it better, maybe I should change this. Just let it be, celebrate, because it's perfect for now. Okay, if any changes need to come in, then they will at the right time, but right now just enjoy. So yeah, you've done a really grand job, Aquarius. Please just enjoy this time. If anything, maybe this is going to be the time for you to learn how to celebrate and enjoy all of your hard work and your effort that you've been putting into whatever it is that you've been putting effort into. As it's a general reading, it will be something else for every Aquarius. But yeah, please relax, enjoy, celebrate. Celebrate yourself and what you've built. Thank you for watching, Aquarius. See you next time. Pisces, Sun, Moon, or Rising. So what are you reviewing this Mercury retrograde time that will help you step forward into your new era that is being really strongly accentuated now by the new moon eclipse that's coming up this week? So this is actually a very positive card, in the sense that I don't feel like there will be actually a lot of work to be done on your side. It's more like the opposite. You will need to learn how to relax your mind, how to rest, you know, how to sort of quiet your mind down and let yourself just be present, just without you know, being affected by whether it's your own thoughts, whether it's something that's happening outwardly. Because as we can see on this picture, this man is having a grand rest, sleep, whilst there's a fire happening not so far away from him. And I feel like this is just saying that it's almost like all of the past happenings, situations, thoughts, beliefs are burning down, they're going away, they're being taken out of your life, and it's the time for you to just really rest mentally, especially because we're talking about swords suit in here. the rest, the ability to rest and relax your mind will help you build better future, will have a great effect on your also your sort of physical side of life, because once your mind is clear of clutter and sort of unnecessary noise, I want to say, it will help you make better decisions, because we have a number 4. Number 4 is a very practical, solid number in numerology. This is where we're really building something with our hands, practically building something tangible in our life, you know, whatever it is that your plans might be, your goals might be. If you're able to just relax and not be overtaken by your mental chatter, that's most likely unhelpful, because we're talking about things that might be standing in your way from achieving this. 4, yeah, if you haven't started entering this phase of your life yet, since the new moon in Aries that happened a few weeks ago, because that would have been a little bit of a start to this whole phase of your life. Now you will start feeling it a little bit stronger, or the need for it will be a little bit stronger. So if you find yourself in a bit of a chaotic time during this Mercury retrograde and this new moon eclipse, it's because maybe you haven't addressed these issues earlier on, those few weeks ago, during the new moon in Aries. So just if you feel distressed, disorganized, a little bit chaotic when it comes to your mind, if it starts playing tricks in any way, making you feel some sort of uncomfortable way, let's say, then it's just there so that you can really make a decision to stop that from happening. And so it might be time for you to start learning practices that will help you do that. I don't know. Let me know actually, Pisces, in the comments. Are you maybe reading books on that? Are you doing any practices? Have you started something? Have you been thinking about starting something? That would be really interesting. And also overall, you know, just being able to take rest, being able to look after yourself when you need rest, whether it's sleep, whether it's a trip, holiday, right? Because that's one of the other meanings for 4 of Swords. It's when we are going away so that we can clear our minds. You know, these are all important things in our life. They're just as important as, you know, our responsibilities. So make sure that you incorporate rest, holiday, or just looking after yourself in any way that you feel will help you relax and feel better, be more restful, and in effect, it will help you clear your mind. Let's just have a look at the back of the card. Yeah, stop fighting with yourself. That's the other thing that's just coming to me. Stop the internal fight with yourself. Just put the swords aside and, you know, let it go. Let it go, Pisces. Thank you very much for listening, and I'll see you next week.